Good evening, and thank you for tuning in tonight. This is New York City Councilman Chaim Deutsch, and I'm filling in tonight for Zeb Brenner here on Talkline Communications Network. You're listening to Chaim on the radio at 620 on your AM dial. And I'm here in the studio tonight with my socially distancing co-host once again, Dr. Faye Zakheim. Hi, Faye. Oh, not in the air yet. So it's been nearly a month since Governor Cuomo declared a state of emergency, and about 2 weeks since non-essential businesses were shut down. And I think I can speak for most of us when I say it's exhausting. It's stressful to be cooped up at home. It's complicated now that Pesach is almost here. It's around the corner. And it's scary to hear about all the pain and suffering that this outbreak has brought. There has been 92,381 positive cases of coronavirus in New York State, with 51,809 of those cases being here in New York City. And that is nearly 2,500 people who have died here in New York State. And not an absolutely astronomical number. And, you know, experts continue to say that New York hasn't hit its apex yet, which means over the next few weeks could be the absolutely most devastating time that we have seen here since 9/11, with hospitals exceeding their capacity, doctors and nurses falling ill, and thousands of our neighbors potentially losing their lives. During what feels like a very dark time, and it truly is, I also want to highlight the beautiful acts of chesed and kindness that I've seen in recent weeks. And the many people that I have spoken to over the last few weeks, literally 22 hours a day. People have not been sleeping, those people who have been doing acts of chesed. People organizing free lunches for healthcare workers or donating food and essentials for those who may be struggling. Companies that have been opened their factory doors to manufacture protective gear for medical workers. Volunteers offering to take care of shopping for their neighbors, and so many other kind, gracious acts that we have heard about. And, you know, when we listen to the news, we listen to the radio, we watch the news, and we see the things on the web, we don't hear it. We don't hear too much about the acts of chesed. We're hearing about the devastation, what we're seeing here in New York City and beyond. You know, tonight we have a very packed show for you. We're breaking a record here with 6 guests who will be joining us over the course of the next 59 minutes. We're starting off the night with 2 repeat guests. We had Commissioner Gregg Bishop on the show before, and he is the New York City Department of Small Business Services here in New York City. And we're also going to be joined by New York City Councilman Gjonaj, who represents the 13th District in the Bronx. And if you happen to be outdoors, which you shouldn't be, you'll notice many shuttered businesses. And the owners and employees of these businesses are struggling significantly at this point, and the city is stepping in to help. And, you know, I have my office. We have been helping people with unemployment. Dr. Faye, I think you're there. Welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, welcome.
Speaking of acts of chesed, Councilman Deutsch, I don't think you slept an hour this week. All I'm hearing about is everything that you're doing for everybody on every single level. You're just amazing in terms of health, in terms of mental health, in terms of unemployment, in terms of businesses. You're just unbelievable. Have you slept at all this week, Chaim?
Well, my wife told me that she's been seeing me less now that I'm home than when I'm not home. Because every time she turns around, I'm on the phone. We have conference call after conference calls after conference calls. And I really want to thank the professionals out there and those in the healthcare business. And in particular, I want to thank Dr. Glatt, as well as Dr. Kofsky, who are infectious disease specialists. And I've been on the phone with them literally every single day, multiple times a day. And I want to thank Rabbi Reisman. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and they have been phenomenal, very accessible. And you try making a phone call to a doctor today. It's almost impossible getting hold of many doctors, and they have been on the front lines. and they've been just answering the phone question after question after question. So, and the work you do, Faye, you've been doing Zoom classes, and you've been doing so much. I know I've been trying to reach you sometimes. It went straight to voicemail. Then you send me a text that you're busy with giving classes over Zoom.
You know what? It's the best feeling in the world to know that you can do things for other people. Like anybody that's out there can be doing a chesed. Anybody could be making a phone call to an old person that's sitting in their house, and that phone call means so much. So the opportunities are all there, and the fact that we could grab them, it's our opportunity to grab them. But Chaim, you're just the leader. You're letting us all do this together with you. You don't hoard the mitzvos. You allow us to share in the mitzvos with you. And we're all so grateful for the fact that you share with all of us the opportunities to be able to help Klal Yisrael.
And I was glad
I was able. Thank you so much.
And Faye, I was glad I was able to do one of the things you mentioned today. I spoke to your mother today. Right?
You're amazing. Chaim, my mother's an elderly lady. I don't want to take up the time because I really want to hear everybody. But my mother this morning woke up and said, I am not leaving the house. I'm never leaving the house again. I'm done. It's over. And I said, you know what? Okay, so stay in the house. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, do you want to stay in the house? Stay in the house. 5 minutes later, she was dressed, makeup, ready to go. We walked around the corner. You called. You made her day. And I just want to thank you so much. So she already called to say, what time are we going out tomorrow morning?
Well, she made
my day. Get ready
to
make that phone call again tomorrow. Thank you so much. On a personal level, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And, so I want to start with one of our guests tonight, New York City Councilman Gjonaj, who is the chairman of the City Council's Committee on Small Businesses and has been a leading effort during the last few days, urging the mayor and the governor to suspend business taxes during this COVID-19 outbreak. So, our call-in number is 718-303-9090. If you're a business owner, please feel free to call. We'll try to take your calls. So, Mark, welcome on the air.
Hey, Chaim, my dear friend, thank you for having me. Let me first express my condolences, my prayers, and heart goes out to all those that have lost loved ones during this pandemic and crisis. And my heart goes out to all those that are battling this terrible disease. It's impacted all of us, and together we're in it, and together we'll get out of this crisis. So we have so much to talk about, Chaim. I'm glad that I hope all in your family and your loved ones are all fine health-wise.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, and the same to you and your family. And thank you for your leadership in the City Council on behalf of all the small businesses. We have we're gonna bring in another guest right now with you, Mark, and that's Commissioner Bishop, one of the major victories of the stimulus package that passed Congress last week, which is $349 billion government relief program for small businesses. So, Commissioner Bishop, welcome on the air.
Good to be back, and of course, wish I was under better circumstances. But it's good to hear both of you council members tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner, let me start with you. And how is your department guiding business owners, and how will these grants help them stay afloat during this difficult time?
Well, as you know, every day is so fluid. Shortly after we saw businesses in the Chinatown communities having challenges, we created two programs. One that we're actually going to sunset tomorrow, which is the Employee Retention Grant Program. That's coinciding with the launch of the Federal Paycheck Protection Program, which most businesses, if you have a relationship with your bank, you'll be eligible to apply through your bank starting tomorrow. But the Employee Retention Program was for very small businesses, fewer than 4 employees. And the idea was for the companies that were struggling to hold on to their employees, we would reimburse them 40% of their payroll costs. The Federal Paycheck Protection Program actually does a lot more in terms of not only cover more businesses, but larger businesses as well. We last week launched our Small Business Continuity Fund, and that is a loan program where businesses can borrow up to $75,000 at a 0% interest rate. We see this program as a bridge. I just want to be clear. because we want to make sure that folks actually take advantage of the federal program. We have to be thankful for all our federal elected officials who fought hard to get not only these programs, but to make it as flexible as possible. So we are encouraging every business to take advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program and also the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That application is up. It's been up since Monday. I've spoken to my counterparts at the SBA. They have over 2 million applications in process already. So we want to make sure that our New York businesses ensure that they understand what's available. That is a loan, a low interest fixed rate loan that goes up to $2 million, and it is open to everyone. It's whether you're a small business, independent contractor, a sole proprietor, or a nonprofit, you can apply. And what's more important, you can actually apply for, as you're applying, you can apply for economic injury disaster loan advance of up to $10,000. And that money will be made available within 3 days of a successful application. So there's a lot out there. Anyone that's interested in any of our programs can go to nyc.gov/COVID-19-BIZ and get all the links to the programs that I talked about.
So, how, with all the bureaucracy, how difficult or how we'll be able to streamline for these businesses to get these grants, to get these loans. People are like, they're scrambling, they're trying to pay their workers, and they're going online. But, what's the process of once someone applies for those loans or grants to when they could actually get money in their pockets?
Right. So for our program, I can't speak to the SBA's program, but for our program, because we just launched it last week, I can only tell you what's happening in real time. But individuals who filled out the pre-application, 2 weeks ago, was connected to the lender, and we started making loans, meaning money was dispersed April 1st. So that I'm forgetting what day today is, but April 1st. So that's about 2 weeks or so. So we're moving as quickly as possible. The reason why we want to make sure people know about the SBA program, because my understanding is that the SBA's process, they streamlined their website as well. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out the application. And they're saying, upon completion within 3 days. But we want to make sure that, I assume with the level of interest that business, people are going to have, that may not happen. But the sooner you get your application in, the sooner you get your funding. What I do know is the fact that they are using approved lenders for the Paycheck Protection Program. That is your bank. So if you have a good relationship with your bank, your banker, and they are the ones that's processing it for you. So my assumption is that will move much faster. I want to make sure that all your listeners know, especially the businesses who are still operating and need some help in, holding on to their employees, paying their rent. You could use this money for payroll, rent, mortgage, interest, or utilities. And that is through your lender.
Got it. Councilman Mark Gjonaj, you urged the mayor and the governor to suspend business taxes during the COVID-19 outbreak. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you, Chaim. I just want to add something. Thank you, Commissioner, for that wonderful explanation of all of the loans and grants that are out there. But under the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program of the SBA, that money will also be forgiven if the employer keeps the employees on the payroll for up to 8 weeks. So that's going to act more like a grant than it is a loan, and that's what our small businesses need. Giving them grants is going to ensure that they survive. Loans will just put them further into debt, even if they're with 0% interest. It's going to have to be paid back at some time. So with that, yes, we need.
I wanted to just ask a question. Yeah, that's such it's so great listening to both of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner and Councilman. I have a question. Can you tell us again exactly what website or what link to go on to for all of this information? Because there's so much information that's so important. So where would we access this information?
Sure. So the best way to do this is by actually calling in. The SBA has hired thousands of people to man 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It's my understanding that number is 1-800-659-2955. 800-659-2955. And that's for the federal program. And I'll let the commissioner give the information on the SBS.
So for our program,
Hi, Commissioner. How are you?
How are you? I guess we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to take a rain check on an invitation, right?
You know what? I think it was the week before this whole thing happened that we were sitting at the Friday night table, waiting for you to join us at our Friday night table. But I think
I'll be there.
It will be soon. We are waiting. They're going to love you. We are waiting, and it will be very soon, I'm sure. So, what is the number for the city?
So for us, it's simple. It's 311, or they can go online at nyc.gov/COVID19BIZ. So COVID-19 biz.
So is it, with all the people who are trying to apply, is it easier to go online rather than make the phone call? Like, would the phones be busy, or should they rather go online?
Well, I would imagine many of our small businesses, the mom and pop shops, have lots of questions to ask. Which forms? How do I complete this? So it's always best that they speak to someone. And as the commissioner said earlier, because the local banks are going to be doing the lending, they also have a relationship with their banks that can answer their questions as well. So I encourage them to do all of the above. Call, speak to, reach out to, get as much information as possible and take advantage of everything that's out there. Our small businesses need everything they could possibly get their hands on to survive. This isn't a question about thriving. It's just survival.
Thank you. So I have a question for both you, Commissioner and Mark. I have a question here, and this is an email that I have received. And this is what the email reads. It says, "Chaim, you're doing great, and we're all proud." Well, I didn't have to read that part, but anyway, it says, "My stores are open, providing essentials to the community, but we are unable to keep employees because they can make more money sitting home doing nothing by applying for unemployment. We pay them $15 an hour. They work 40 hours per week and earn $600 minus taxes. The new benefits will pay them $800 per week with no questions asked for 6 months." And then he continues, "That is crazy. No retailer will be able to remain open. That's a disaster. No food, no essentials." And then he continues, "Furthermore, while I understand the need to remain safe, it is imperative that food and essential production businesses remain open with full staff to the extent possible. For example, there is a shortage of toilet paper. We buy toilet paper from the manufacturer. We spoke to them. They have the equipment and they even have the raw materials. They do not have the employees to run the equipment, so they are not able to make product. This is real. We cannot let the essential products needed to survive fall away because of lack of labor. In China, they have adapted and are in full production with safety measures in place. We must do the same, otherwise our society will collapse." And he continues, "It's time to sound the alarm." And I have found that many of the businesses, this is what I'm saying, I have found many of the businesses call me up that workers are dropping like flies and they cannot keep up with the demand. So what is your opinion on this? And if you have any opinion on this, and what do you think? We'll start with whoever wants to answer that question first.
I'll let you take the soft one, Commissioner.
Oh, yes, you're smart, Mark.
I was going to say, council member. So I don't agree with the premise. The first part of it, if unemployment benefits are people who have lost their jobs. So if someone has been terminated or laid off, they are eligible for unemployment. If someone still has a job, they cannot get unemployment. So the premise that, and I think what they're insinuating is that individuals will stay at home and collect unemployment instead of working. That's a false premise. The unemployment benefits are people who have lost their jobs. I would also encourage that person to pay their workers a respectable wage since they are risking their lives coming into work as an essential employee. The second part, we have in the city, our Economic Development Corporation, we have companies that are manufacturing, that have shifted manufacturing to provide the essential, much needed protective products for our healthcare workers. We just had a company out in the Navy Yard produce a whole bunch of face shields. So manufacturing is happening. I'm not sure what this person is referring to, that they cannot find workers. But if there is any company that is looking for workers, we can still help. Our Workforce One system is still operating, although remotely, but we can certainly help any company find the employees that they need.
And thank you very much, because I just used the workforce. Many of the essential businesses in my district were losing employees, and they actually were very helpful. So I want to thank you, Commissioner Bishop. Thank you so much for being on the air tonight, and as well as Councilmember Mark Gjonaj. And I want to thank you both. Thank you so much.
Chaim, I just want to
thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before
Thank
you. Get off commission, I just want to end with this. You know, we can do a lot more at a city and state level, and we can suspend from business tax and sales tax and payroll tax and real estate taxes and water and sewer charges that are coming up due and workman's comp. These are things that the city and the state can do right now to help alleviate some of the pain that these small businesses are going through. We're not saying we're going to waive that money, but we're going to defer the payment dates. That's something that should be discussed, and we need to talk more about that. We have a petition that's out there. More than 20,000 people have signed calling on government to suspend or delay the payment of those taxes. This will give the small businesses a chance to breathe as they gather and rebuild those businesses back up and get their business models up and running.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your leadership, both of you, Commissioner and Council Member. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council Member.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, we're going to take a commercial break, but before that, I just want to tell you, stay tuned, because we're going to be hearing from the people who are on the front lines during COVID-19. And you just heard some information that is important for small businesses. But the next segment is going to be real stuff, things that are happening right here in New York City. So stay tuned. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
TCN, Talkline Communications Network Radio, America's #1 Jewish program.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. I'm calling on all New Yorkers to do their part to slow the spread of coronavirus. Everyone, even young people and those who feel well, stay home. If you must go outside, stay 6 feet from others. This will ensure everyone who needs hospital care can get it. This virus spreads even without symptoms. Stay home and stay safe. Be a part now so we can all be together later. Stay informed at health.ny.gov/coronavirus.
This year for the Seder, make sure you have A&B famous gefilte fish on your table, because A&B is famous, being the #1 gefilte fish in kashrus, in freshness, and, of course, in taste. Do you know that A&B checks each white fish fillet for fishworms and each individual egg for blood drops, as well as the onions? A&B famous gefilte fish is made with 100% fresh fish, fresh eggs, freshly chopped onions. It's 100% natural with no preservatives, no MSG. It really makes a big difference in taste. Available in regular sweet, less sugar, sugar-free, Hungarian style, pike and white, low cholesterol, and there's even salmon gefilte fish. For all year round, carb-free gefilte fish too. By the way, don't forget to try their new Parv Kishke. If you're gluten-free, stock up now for the whole year. Please look for A&B famous gefilte fish in the freezer section of your supermarket or grocery store.
We're living in very challenging times with things very unsettling. But with Pesach Fest approaching, it's time to uplift our spirits and put a spark into the holiday. Even if we don't make it to Israel for Yom Tov, we can get a taste of the Holy Land with Even Zahav's award-winning Jerusalem Gold wines, which will enhance your Seder table. Choose from the Even Zahav Special Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot, Premium Merlot, Premium Shiraz, and Petit Shiraz. Other uplifting choices to make your Pesach sparkle include Deux Privilèges, the finest kosher cognac from France. It's a gold medal winner and comes in a variety of exquisite bottles. Other great cognac choices include gold medal winner Deux XO, the Deux Cognac XO Louis Memory Eaux d'Age, and a very light and silky gold medal winner Deux Extra Black. The Marquis de Brim Cognac XO is a special gift box, is a great gift to give. It's a special selection of the Premier's crew of cognacs. Let your spirit be lifted up this Passover with Evan Zahab premium wines from Israel and the finest kosher cognacs in the world.
When it comes to Pesach, nothing but the best in quality and kashrus will do for your Seder and Yom Tov meals. For the last 60 years, Marvet Kosher Poultry has been providing the cleanest, finest, and tastiest chickens, turkeys, ducks, and Cornish hens for discriminating kosher consumers. Marvet also has the most kosher supervision, including the OU, MK, Hisachdus, and COR as well. So, this Yom Tov, make sure Marvet is on your family's table. Available at the finest kosher supermarkets. A Chag Kosher V'Sameach from Marvet Poultry. Ancient tradition, today's taste.
What better way to finish off a holiday meal than with Elegant Desserts? Yes, Elegant Desserts will deliver your choice of the finest non-gebrachs Pesach desserts right to your door. Treat yourself and your family to their outstanding mouth-watering cakes, salted caramel cream and double chocolate bites, puree sorbet lollipops, mini Elegant Pops in a variety of flavors, churros, cinnamon buns, chocolate logs, and so many other Elegant Desserts. They also have broccoli and cauliflower quiches and mushroom onion kugels and a full line of gluten-free Pesach products. Let Elegant Desserts put a finishing touch to your Seder table and Yom Tov meals by placing your orders online at elegantdessertsny.com. Get an extra $10 off your order by using promotional code RADIO and also get free nationwide shipping. Please place your orders by March 24th. Log on to elegantdessertsny.com now and get your Just Desserts.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. The spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well. Visit ny.gov/coronavirus.
TCN, Talkline Communications Network Radio, America's #1 Jewish program.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Chaim the Radio, 620 on your AM dial, Talkline Communications Network, and I'm filling in for Zeb Brenner here on the radio with my co-host, Dr. Faye Zakheim. So for the next few segments of tonight's program, I've asked professionals from several different areas of healthcare to join us and speak about their part in caring for patients during this crisis. We'll start with Hatzalah members, the first step for many sick COVID patients. And after we speak with Hatzalah, we'll be talking to the CEO of a hospital who can explain what's happening on their side of things. And we'll end with the director of operations of Chesed Shel Emes, and that is the Jewish burial organization. Medical workers are truly on the front lines of this crisis, and I've invited two prominent leaders of Flapish Hatzalah to speak to us about what they are seeing day to day. And I have to tell you that when you walk out on the streets, yes, you've been seeing less people out and about, but some things that we have been seeing in the news and the media are very extremely disturbing. People are just going on about with their regular lives like nothing is going on. And you need to listen to the first responders, what they're going through each and every day. And for the last 5 weeks on this radio show, we have been speaking about coronavirus, and we're asking people to stay indoors, stay away from others, practice social distancing. And let me tell you something, that if you don't abide by these guidelines and regulations, you are jeopardizing your neighbors, your family members, your people you are meeting in the streets. You're jeopardizing first responders. They are in the front lines while you are going about your business. You are jeopardizing them. They are leaving their family members, whether they're getting paid or volunteers such as Hatzalah. You are jeopardizing their lives. So we're going to hear tonight from Moshe Wulliger, who is a coordinator with Flapish Hatzalah, and Alan Esses. He sits on their board. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Fine.
Hi. Hi, Moshe, and hi, Alan. You're on the air.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting us. It's amazing what you do for the community.
Moshe, maybe you could just start us off right away. How are these Hatzalah members doing it? The ambulances are going constantly, all the time. And as much as we may not like hearing the ambulances, how are these guys surviving? How are they doing it? Tell us.
Well, I have to tell you, number one, I just want to emphasize what Chaim said, how important it is. People have to realize that it doesn't make a difference if it's a minyan, which every sensible Rav or Rebbe or Dayan said, no minyanim nowhere. If it's, God forbid, a funeral, I mean, it doesn't make sense. People are putting lives in danger. You know, you see funerals, people are pushing. It doesn't make any sense. And we're begging. Hatzalah's been begging. And what Chaim said, you know, every Rav said, don't have your kids over for Pesach. It's a very hard thing. But as I heard from a yeshiva in Lakewood, every individual out there now is a Hatzalah member. You are a Hatzalah member by making sure people are not gathering. We need everybody's help. As far as you asked how Hatzalah is going, I would like to first say that you never know how your members would react until you come into the situation. And I can't say how proud I am of my members, because if somebody would have asked me 2 weeks ago, and he gave me the scenario that going from 50 calls a day to over 150, and going in, you got to wear masks, you got to wear gowns, you know, you're petrified to go in. You know you're going in. 95% of the calls are going to are corona calls. It's scary, but we know that we spoke to our Rabbanim. We know what we're doing is the right thing. We're going to save lives, so God's there to protect us. But I have to tell you, it's not easy. We have members, you know, who do normally 7-8 calls a week, are doing 40, 50. And, the public can help by distancing. I was on a call myself by a cardiac arrest. I come there, and I understand them. It was children and grandchildren. In one room, about 15 of them. And I told them, my members are not going in until everybody gets out of the room. So as Chaim said earlier, please, we're begging, no minyanim. If God forbid our funerals, just a few people sitting in cars. You know, people tell you, oh, we have to go to the grocery store. I understand. We need food. But only go when you have to. Separate. If you have neighbors who are sick, shop for them. But separate from other people. Wear masks. Wear gloves. And hopefully, this will pass.
And I made an order today at the supermarket, and the delivery guys didn't want to come into my house. And I didn't want them to come in, because we shouldn't have to have people come into your home or interact with anyone. And they did a smart thing, and they said, no, we're dropping the box in the front. And they were heavy boxes. So kudos to them for practicing social distancing, and they were working every single day. But let me tell you something, for those people who are out there, they're walking around with no worries in their lives, like everything is good. If they are healthy, let them volunteer in a hospital. If they're going to put their lives in jeopardy, let them volunteer in a hospital. Okay, not to walk around, go watch a ship coming in, or go to a wedding, or make a wedding, or you just hanging out with friends in the playground. If you're going to...
Also, Chaim, you know what else I really want to add on? And Moshe, I'm sure you're going to agree with me. I got phone calls. I'm getting a lot of phone calls from the wives of the Hatzalah members, and we're doing a phone call tomorrow with a lot of Hatzalah members' wives together. I think everybody has to realize, before you call Hatzalah, think about it. Is this really an emergency? Do I really need to put a Hatzalah member's life in danger? Because they are tzaddikim. They're going to come, but they're leaving families, and they are putting their families also. They should all be blessed, and Hashem should take care of all of them, and I'm sure Hashem will. But they are going back home to families with children, families and their wives. So I think people really need to think, before you dial Hatzalah, because you're having a panic attack, before you do that and make a Hatzalah member come into the house, think twice, and think about that they're people, they're regular people that are putting themselves into jeopardy by coming in. Mike, do you agree with what I'm saying?
100%. And I do have to say, Most patients, where we are going to, we tell them on the phone, you're going to have to wear a mask. And I have to tell you, most patients are putting on the masks. They understand what's going on. And I just have to say that, as you mentioned, the members' wives, Baruch Hashem, we have a great Rabbanim who, we're getting messages that they're sending us videos and tapes for our members. The chizuk is great. And the whole, Jewish community has come aboard. I mean, people are calling up, offering whatever Hatzalah needs. Every restaurant is saying when a guy gets a call, just come in, it's free. They're really, really behind us, and, we really have to thank the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors. I mean, imagine you're in a hospital with this 12-hour shifts with all corona, and most of the nurses and doctors are doing a great job.
So let's finish off with this. I just want to ask both of you, Alan and Moshe, tell the listeners when you're responding to calls, and most of the calls you're responding to now are COVID patients, and there's nothing really you can do for them because the hospitals are not accepting them unless they're really having difficulty breathing. So tell the listeners of what a scene looks like when you respond to someone's home who has COVID, who is crying, who is saying that he or she is in pain, or whatever the case is. What is your feelings? Tell the listeners and tell them how important it is, because you guys are in the front line. Tell them what it looks like to be in the front line.
Alan, go.
As we approach the house, we call the patient to try and get a little snapshot of exactly what's going on. Of course, we're all scared. We don't know what we're walking into. We don't know how many people have COVID in the house. If they're able to come to the door, we tell them, please meet us at the door, and we give them a mask, and we do a full assessment. If we need to come in and take their blood pressure and take their lung sounds and listen to their heart rate, we do that. A lot of times they're panicking, and they don't know what to do, because this disease is going on for many, many days. People are showing up at houses, they're on day 12, 13, 14, with 101 fever to 103 fever, and it's very scary. And basically, if they have shortness of breath, that is the telltale sign that they really need to get into a hospital to get tested, to get x-rays, to get lab work, and possibly get on antibiotics. But most of the cases we're getting, people are panicking, they're scared, and we're trying to talk them out of going into the hospitals.
Thank you, Moshe. Thank you, Alan, and thank you all the Hatzalah members, and thank you all the first responders and all the healthcare workers who are on the front line, who are putting your lives at risk for others, just to help others. So thank you all. Thank you for joining us tonight, and stay safe out there, and continue doing God's work. For both of you.
Thank you, Chaim. Keep up your good work.
Thank you, Chaim.
Thank you. We're going to continue our live coverage on coronavirus. We're going to take a commercial break. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
TCN, Talkline Communications Network Radio, America's #1 Jewish program.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. The spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well. Visit ny.gov/coronavirus.
Let's talk cosmetics for a moment. There is so much makeup out there that sometimes women get lost in what to buy. Until now, introducing Annalie Cosmetics. It's a healthy makeup that uses natural and organic ingredients, cruelty-free and vegan. Why is Annalie Cosmetics different from all other cosmetics? Because it's healthy, safe, and effective. Pigments are strong and formula is pure. No reason to sacrifice your beauty to look good. Annalie offers a full line of kosher for Passover under the supervision of Rabbi Blumenkrantz and a full line of Shabbat and Yom Tov approved makeup. Talkline listeners, mention code ZEV and get a 20% discount. To learn more, go to www.annaliecosmetics.com or call 855-7-ANNALIE. That's 855-7-ANELEY or 855-726-3539. Call now. Online at www.annaliecosmetics.com. That's www.anneleycosmetics.com. COSMETICS.com.
When it comes to Pesach, nothing but the best in quality and kashrus will do for your Seder and Yom Tov meals. For the last 60 years, Marvet Kosher Poultry has been providing the cleanest, finest, and tastiest chickens, turkeys, ducks, and Cornish hens for discriminating kosher consumers. Marvet also has the most kosher supervision, including the OU, MK, Isachdus, and COR as well. So, this Yom Tov, make sure Marvet is on your family's table. Available at the finest kosher supermarkets. A Chag Kosher V'Sameach from Marvet Poultry. Ancient tradition, today's taste.
We're living in very challenging times with things very unsettling. But with Pesach Fest approaching, it's time to uplift our spirits and put a spark into the holiday. Even if we don't make it to Israel for Yom Tov, we can get a taste of the Holy Land with Even Zahav's award-winning Jerusalem Gold wines, which will enhance your Seder table. Choose from the Even Zahav Special Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot, Premium Merlot, Premium Shiraz, and Petit Shiraz. Other uplifting choices to make your Pesach sparkle include Deux Privilèges, the finest kosher cognac from France. It's a gold medal winner and comes in a variety of exquisite bottles. Other great cognac choices include gold medal winner Deux XO, the Deux Cognac XO Louis Memory Eaux d'Age, and a very light and silky gold medal winner Deux Extra Black. The Marquis de Brim Cognac XO is a special gift box, is a great gift to give. It's a special selection of the Premier's crew of cognacs. Let your spirit be lifted up this Passover with Even Zahav premium wines from Israel and the finest kosher cognacs in the world.
What better way to finish off a holiday meal than with elegant desserts? Yes, Elegant Desserts will deliver your choice of the finest non-gebrachs Pesach desserts right to your door. Treat yourself and your family to their outstanding mouth-watering cakes, salted caramel cream and double chocolate bites, puree sorbet lollipops, mini elegant pops in a variety of flavors, churros, cinnamon buns, chocolate logs, and so many other elegant desserts. They also have broccoli and cauliflower quiches and mushroom onion kugels and a full line of gluten-free Pesach products. Let Elegant Desserts put a finishing touch to your Seder table and Yom Tov meals by placing your orders online at elegantdessertsny.com. Get an extra $10 off your order by using promotional code RADIO and also get free nationwide shipping. Please place your orders by March 24th. Log on to elegantdessertsny.com now and get your just desserts.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. The spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well. Visit ny.gov/coronavirus.
TCN, Talkline Communications Network Radio, America's #1 Jewish program.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Chaim on the Radio, 620 on the AM dial. Joining us now on the phone is Barry Stern, the CEO of New York Community Hospital on Kings Highway. Barry, welcome on the air.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Chaim.
So first, Barry, I want to thank you for keeping me updated of what's going on in the hospital every day. And every time I look at that email, I'm terrified to open it up. So give us the insight of what is going on in the hospital and what is going on in other hospitals. Let the listeners know what exactly is happening, because if you're not in the front line, you don't know. And you, Barry, you are in the hospital. You are there every single day. So tell the listeners what exactly is going on.
Yeah, well, it's been overwhelming for everybody involved in the effort. The pace of the increase in people coming to the hospital and people being admitted to the hospital has just been, originally it was doubling every 5 days, and it was every 3 days, and so the actual hospital census around the city is probably at this point well over capacity in every single institution. All the ERs are full and are well beyond their normal capacity. All of the hospital beds are full, and all the hospitals are looking for the avenues for opening up new beds and to make it possible to deal with these demands. So the first message is that to answer your question, is that it's been somewhat overwhelming for everybody in the industry.
So, I know that many hospitals have an outdoor morgue, an outdoor makeshift morgue. Now, does Community Hospital have one?
Yes, the OEM has delivered to all the hospitals outside morgues. I mean, the normal capacity of an institution is just a few deaths per day, and our institution, the morgue, can hold maybe 4 deceased patients, and unfortunately, because of the pace at which people are dying in the hospitals, as well as the fact that the funeral homes are overwhelmed as well. It's just unfortunate that we will have to rely on these outside facilities. These are refrigerated facilities that were delivered that had to then be enclosed and electricity lines run by the engineering staffs overnight, just to make sure that we could properly take care of the deceased.
And that's every hospital has a morgue, correct?
Right,
and
yeah.
For a hospital to start bringing in and building a makeshift morgue, and this is a sense of urgency. Look, people are dying every single day. People are dying. This virus is serious, and it's very easily spread. And, tell us, Barry, in plainly, what are the impacts of people being reckless about not staying home during this crisis?
Well, the hospital is doing everything possible not to have people remain in the hospital unless they really belong there. I mean, a lot of people are running to the hospital emergency rooms, and they may have the initial symptoms, but I think the major message, which has been repeated over and over again, and it can't be repeated enough, people have to listen to their physicians. They have to call their physicians, get instructions. In most cases, physicians will be able to make home monitoring resources available. I know that you've done a lot, Chaim, to promote that and make that possible for people to check their oxygen at home to make sure that there is a visibility in terms of their major vital signs. And most people can, in fact, stay at home right through the illness. And that, in fact, has been the recommendation for most people who get a fever, people who have developed a cough, people who have the other symptoms. It's very, very important for people not to jump to go to an emergency room. They're only exposing other people unnecessarily and exposing themselves. So the most important thing is for people to keep contact with their doctors. Telehealth has become extremely efficient and used more than ever before, and in this crisis it's really proven to be a tremendous way to give people the comfort that they need, the instructions that they need. So that's number one. Number two is that I've heard it listening to the show. I've heard what's been said in previous weeks. It's extremely important for people not to become complacent. There's a natural defense mechanism to try not to to become fearful and remain with fear. There's a natural defense mechanism to sort of just block it, but it's not going to go away. It has to be the course of time. We know that this will be with us for another few weeks at least. We have not hit the peak. The governor has projections that say that the peak should come over the next week or so. And we just do not want people to become complacent. They must follow the instructions to remain in their homes. The Rabbanim, the doctors, everybody has to make sure that they use common sense.
Yeah, and people shouldn't think that we haven't come to the peak. The peak will come over the next few weeks. So they shouldn't think, the peak's gonna come the next few weeks. I could go out. I could go out about my business and do whatever I want. No, you could be part of that peak. And
right.
People need to stay home. People need to stay home and stay with your families. Don't have even other family members join you. There's so many symptoms that a person could have to show that they have coronavirus. And I really want to. You mentioned before about a few individuals who stepped up, and that's Dr. Wurzberger and Dr. Braunstein. Because COVID patients, they are not accepting every COVID patient into the hospital. It's impossible. So if someone cannot breathe, if someone has difficulty breathing, then you will be transferred into a hospital. But otherwise, the city, the state, the federal government's asking you to stay home. So what Dr. Wurzberg and Dr. Braunstein is doing, they're bringing home hospital stay where they're giving you a pulse ox, and you monitor yourself at home, and you send in your vitals to them, and they monitor 24/7. So this way you feel comfortable at home. You're being monitored by your doctor. So I just want to give a shout-out to them for all the great work that they're doing. So, Barry, thank you for being in the front lines. Thank you for having an open line of communication. And stay safe, be safe, and I want to wish you a happy and healthy Passover. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. I just want to give one word of just encouragement and appreciation, not just for the Atzola members who do it voluntarily. We always look at them as tireless and so giving, and they are absolutely courageous. And just like all the workers in the hospitals, these people are leaving their families behind. They know how dangerous the virus is, despite that they're serving the public, and I think all of them really deserve a tremendous amount of our regard. And
big shout out to them. Thank you so much, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaim.
Thank you. So we have another guest who we're going to bring right in. We're running out of time, and that is Chesed Shel Emes, which is a volunteer organization that assists with all manners of death and burial, according to Jewish tradition. Sadly, Chesed Shel Emes has been incredibly busy these past few weeks. I asked Mayor Berger, their director of operations, to join us today and to take us through what they have been seeing and let the listeners listen what they have been seeing. So, Mayor Berger,
yes,
tell us what you have been seeing, what you have been doing in the front lines. We only have a few minutes left, so let's get straight to it.
Okay, thanks for having me. Basically, we started seeing an uptick last week Sunday, when on a regular busy week, I would say we have about 30, maybe 35 taharas throughout the week, which means about 6 a day or 5, 6, 7 a day max. Last week we did 60 taharas, and we thought that's the busiest that we can ever get. We were in for some surprises. If people just take it into context, 60 taharas means about 10 a day. That means 6 people 10 times a day to come and prepare a body for burial. Now, not all of them were COVID. Probably a little bit less than half were COVID. But what I said to people is that even the non-COVID deaths were more than regular. And maybe it's as a secondary result of COVID, since the patients who are in the hospital cannot get the perfect treatment that they would have gotten without the COVID crisis. So the COVID crisis maybe possibly worsened the conditions of people who did not have COVID, that they shouldn't be able to get the proper treatment in hospitals, and that's why we saw such an uptick. But that was last week. On Friday, I spoke to Mandy Rosenberg, who's in charge of Chesed Shel Emes, and I believe, Chaim, you know him very well. He told me right before this month that he already has 10 lined up for Motzei Shabbos. I spoke to Motzei Shabbos right after this month. Yeah. He told me over Shabbos we got additional more than 10 more. So we have more than 20 lined up right at this month. From this month Motzei Shabbos, through the entire night, through the entire whole day till Sunday night, we did taharas back to back, non-stop, in all the chapels. We did, I think Mandy told me, if I'm not mistaken, from Motzei Shabbos till Sunday night, 48 taharas. That means 48 people who passed away, leaving behind families, parents, children, spouses, siblings, every single one. We talk about them in numbers, like 20, 30, 40, but it's 20 families or 40 families or 50 families. Each and every one of them is a grieving family who left behind, in many cases, very little kids, and in all cases, most cases, family members. Some of them left behind parents, some of them left behind spouses and children, even married children and grandchildren. And it did not stop since then. We're up to Thursday night, and we thought everything, maybe it was just a backup from Shabbos and it's going to slow down by Monday, Tuesday. It just didn't slow down yet. We're busy every single day, morning to night, whether it's taharas, whether it's going to the hospital for disconnect. We keep on going to the hospital to disconnect. When people pass away, we would unplug all the equipment and take out all the tubes and stuff, non-stop.
Wow. So, Maya, I just want to tell you that all the members, the volunteers, all they're seeing every day are dead bodies, people dying. So I want to thank you, Maya, for being in the front line And I want to thank also Misaskim Chesed Shalem for all the great work you both organizations are doing for those who are deceased and making sure that there's a respectful burial for each and every one. So I want to tell the listeners, once again, people are dying every day. You need to follow the guidelines. You need to stay home. Do not walk out if you don't need to. If you want to take a walk around the corner, feel free. Don't do anything. Don't do any unnecessary errands that you don't have to do. And even the necessary ones, try getting deliveries. Stay home. Stay with your family. Keep everyone healthy. People are dying every day. Let's wait for this to get over. The only way it's going to get over for people are spreading the virus just by interacting and going out. Use whatever safety equipment you have. If you have a mask, if you have gloves, very important. Always wash your hands. Wash your hands with warm water and soap, at least for 20 seconds. Do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. That causes the virus to, if your hands touched a area that someone touched who had that virus. So with that being said, Faye, I want to thank you for joining us. I hope you don't need I hope you're okay, Faye, because I'm not seeing you right now.
No, I'm good, Chaim.
You're good. Okay.
I think your show was just amazing.
I
so
just
much information.
want to make
Thank
sure you're okay.
So much.
Okay. So with that being said, let's all stay safe. Speak to you next week, Thursday, and let's hear some good news. So Shabbat Shalom to all our listeners, and please